You're listening to Zap Night, a video game review podcast. Join your hosts as we review video games from all systems and all genres. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Zap Night. I'm your host, Danny, and today we have the lovely Lori back again.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming back.
Of course.
So today is episode 58, and we are talking about Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey was originally a Switch release, or no, sorry. Of course it was a Switch release, but it was a launch title with the Switch. It was developed by Nintendo, of course, because it's a Mario game. It was released October 27th, 2017. We bought it in November.
Wow, yeah.
Of that same year?
Yes, November 2017 is when we bought it.
And we just started playing it November 2019. So, yeah. There's nothing in particular that has made me, not want to play the game. I don't know.
I think it was one of those games that, it's Mario. We're going to buy it, of course.
Right.
Because Mario games are pretty good. It's just, we just didn't find the time. Yeah. We had other games to play.
Yeah, a lot of other games to play. Yeah, it's weird because when it came out, there was such a hype around the game and so many people were buying it and saying how great it was. And every time because we talked about throwing it in several times and we just never did. We always had something else to play. So, I don't know. But in any case, we did finally sit down. We played it from beginning to end, more or less. Mm-hmm. At least story-wise, we beat it. From, collecting everything point of view, we're about halfway. So, let's talk about the story. The story starts off with Bowser kidnapping the princess. Imagine that. So, this time around, Bowser's motives for kidnapping Princess Peach is to marry her. And, of course, Mario attempts to stop him from kidnapping her. And in Mario's attempt to do this, he gets thrown off of this airship that's floating off into the distance. And he ends up landing in the Cap Kingdom, which is a whole bunch of, hats. And
Ghosts?
Yeah, they are like hat ghosts. So anyway, he meets up with Cappy, whose sister was also kidnapped by Bowser, and they team up together to, save their friends. Cappy helps Mario find a airship called the Odyssey. And he explains that you have to collect these power moons in order to power the Odyssey, but also to restore it to, functioning, to be functional again, because otherwise it's, in ruins. So after restoring the Odyssey to full health, or to functioning condition, they chase Bowser across the world, as Bowser is collecting items for the wedding. So some of the items that he's collecting is a dress, a cake, and a bouquet. And you are specifically fighting off the wedding planners. They're the Brutals. And they're actually these little rabbit creatures. They kind of remind me of the raving rabbit creatures. But they all have hats. Hats are the signature of the game. So everyone has a hat, and the hats do stuff, and all the boss battles revolve around the hat. So all the Brutals you have to fight, there's 4 of them, and you have to fight all of them multiple times, and then you fight Bowser a couple times. Anyway, you chase Bowser all the way to the moon, and when you get to the moon, you stop the wedding, because the chapel is on the moon, of course. You stop the wedding from happening, and Bowser drops down into this moon cavern, And when this happens, you fight Bowser in the Moon Cavern, and at the end of the fight, the cavern starts to collapse, and you've got Peach. You got Princess Peach in the cavern with Mario, the tiara, obviously Cappy, and then Bowser. So Mario takes over Bowser with his cap powers, and while possessing Bowser's body, he carries the princess back up to the surface. And when Bowser finally wakes up from being unconscious, Bowser properly proposes to Princess Peach, and Mario then hastily proposes to Princess Peach in return, and they kind of have this like proposing like dance off. And Peach gets fed up. She jumps on the Odyssey and starts to fly away. Mario just narrowly makes it onto the Odyssey, but leaves Bowser stranded on the moon. When they do make it back to the kingdom, Mario finds out that Princess Peach has packed all of her things and is left. And then you kind of find her in different in each world. You find her in different spots, and she gives you a moon, and she's basically just traveling the world to see what Mario had seen, or to have her own adventure, I guess. So yeah, did I miss anything? No? Cool. So what'd you think about the story? What'd you give it?
I gave it an 8.
Okay.
I thought it was a nice spin on, Mario saves the princess.
Right, yeah.
But the wedding thing was a little weird.
It was weird, yeah. Like, not only was Bowser forcing Peach to be at the wedding, but he also was like forcing witnesses to be there too. So like by the time you make it to the chapel, you've got not only Peach and Bowser, but you've got like all the different like characters from each world are there too. So it's just like, and they're all just like confused, and I don't know, it's just it was kind of odd.
Yeah.
The whole thing just felt kind of odd. It wasn't bad. Like you said, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Like, I didn't find it terrible. It just was kind of...
I applaud them for making an effort to do, like, a different kind of...
Right.
...thing with him saving the princess, but, like, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like the ending where they're, like, fighting over her.
Yeah, that was...
Because, like, Bowser has 0 grounds for her hand in marriage whatsoever. Like, 0. After kidnapping her several times, like, the best he can hope for is, like, a Stockholm syndrome sort of thing. I don't understand. I think that they were just going for an entertainment value, not like a real world, like, well, this would obviously never happen, but it felt odd. It felt kind of awkward. I liked the hats. I didn't like the hats when I first went into it. I didn't like the hats from like the commercials and stuff. So that was kind of a turn away from starting the game.
Yeah.
But once I started playing the game, I really liked the hats. So I thought that was kind of a weird thing that happened throughout the game. The reason for jumping from world to world was kind of a stretch. Like, some of the worlds you crash landed, and then you gotta find moons to like power it up to make it to the next world, wherever Bowser's going, to the next like city or whatever. And I don't know, it seemed like that happened far too often. Like, oh, we're chasing Bowser. Oh, we got hit by a bomb again. Now we're stranded and we gotta find moons. Like, it revolves around the collecting of the moons, but not a lot of times do they actually give you a reason for being there, other than we're here because we have to be, or we're here to keep them from getting a dress, although they still end up taking the dress. So, I don't know.
You're just a little bit too late every time.
Yeah, of course. They had to get you to the moon somehow.
Sorry, your princess is in another castle.
Exactly. So anything else story-wise?
Not really.
Okay, let's move on to graphics. I gave it a 9 out of 10 for graphics. This was the highest score
On your...
on my list. Yeah.
I give it a 10.
Oh wow. Yeah. Good. No, that's good. It deserves a 10. I
loved the graphics.
Yeah. I was thinking what I didn't like about it, but I guess I didn't really write down anything negative.
I liked... There was a lot of I say worlds.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Parts of the world.
Kingdoms.
There were a lot of kingdoms that looked very Mario-esque. But there was a lot of, like, realistic stuff in there, too. Like, you know, the city was a little realistic, and, like, the dinosaur, and the dragon fight.
Yeah, dragon fight was awesome.
He was super realistic, too.
The dragon fight, actually, that whole kingdom, I wrote it down, the Ruined Kingdom, looked very Final Fantasy-esque. It looked... I say that kind of loosely. Like, it looked very... It didn't look Mario.
Right.
It looked way more sophisticated than Mario. It looked like you were going into, like, a Final Fantasy dungeon. I say Final Fantasy because it's, like, one of my like, go-to things. When it comes to graphics, Final Fantasy, for me, has always been, like, as advanced as possible. But, I mean, you could really put anything into that spot. But yeah, I mean, it looked awesome. The dragon looked super cool. He had, like, this lightning move that he was doing during the boss fight that just looked really cool.
And I mean, it was purple, so purple's amazing.
Purple dragon?
Purple lightning?
Exactly. I loved all the outfits and all the outfit combinations.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked that you could mix them.
I liked that they forced you to do them, too. Well,
yeah,
sort of.
Some of them, yeah.
I mean, in order to get into some rooms, in every kingdom, there was a room that you couldn't get into unless you had that kingdom's outfit. So you had to go and find the purple things, coins of some sort, and then you could purchase that outfit to get into that room. And sometimes, it was for a moon, or if it was for a little puzzle that you had to do or whatever, but it was kind of neat. What
was your favorite kingdom? Out of all the kingdoms in the world.
Probably the city, New Donk City. What'd you put?
I liked the Sand Kingdom.
Oh yeah. It was big, like surface area big, but like the New Donk City was big, like vertically. So, there wasn't a whole lot to do, like, on the ground level, but as you, like, made your way up and down into the sewers, so, like, you had multiple layers that you were working with. That was cool. Yeah,
I just liked the vibe of the Sand Kingdom.
Sure.
I liked the red sand. I liked the, what's his name? The guy that you wrote on.
Oh, yeah, the Sphinx guy.
I really liked that.
Jaxie.
Jaxie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of sad that Cappy didn't stay whatever hat you set him to on Mario when you threw him onto other enemies. Yeah. Like, it would always transform back into the traditional Mario cap, and that was kind of, I don't know, it was just silly that they couldn't have added that in. But ultimately, like, it still looked really good, and it was cool that you could do that and actually utilize all these different enemies, not just, something to avoid, but something to actually work with.
That's gameplay.
It is gameplay.
You want to move on to gameplay?
No, I'm not there yet.
Are you not? Okay.
I liked New Donk City, not just for the vertical stuff too, but the, like, Donkey Kong theme.
Yeah, I know.
Was really cool. It was really neat how they really incorporated the traditional Donkey Kong game into New Donk City. So, like, they had Paulina, who was the princess in Donkey Kong. They had, like, all of the like, purple Donkey Kong, like, platforms they utilized in that world. The sewer area was very much like the old school Mario Bros. Like fighting. I don't know. I think it is just called like Mario Bros. Like the original Mario Bros. Where like the turtles are coming out of the pipe and you gotta like collect the coins. Anyway, it was just cool, just neat idea. And every world was huge. Like there was so much to explore, not just like gameplay wise, but just roaming around and seeing like the Dark Forest, finding the Dark Forest. It's like you go through that. I don't remember what that kingdom was.
I was going to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But it's fine.
But I mean, you go through that whole forest kingdom, and then all of a sudden you realize you've got this whole other area to explore. So it's just like, you know, it's huge. It's really, really big. And then you do that, every single kingdom has those little things that it's like, whoa, I didn't realize this was here.
I didn't know I could go in this door.
Right,
I didn't know I could go in this building.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. Maybe I will give it one extra point to not be a 9. Maybe it does deserve a 10 for graphics. I think I agree. The only downside I had was that Cappy didn't transform, but that's very minor compared to the rest of it. Like everything looked really good. You hand me your pen. I'm gonna change it.
You know, I don't know if this is really graphics or gameplay, but when you collect a moon, you know how it kind of like some of the things sparkle?
Yeah.
When there's a moon there, but then after you collect it, it still sparkles. So, like,
yes.
when you come back, like, you don't really know if you've gotten it or not.
I put that under gameplay, but yeah, I agree. Like,
that should have been, like, a different color or something.
There should have been some indication that you had already gotten that.
Right.
And yeah, I agree. I didn't like that at all. That's probably the worst of it.
Anyway.
Let's have a nice little segue here into the gameplay.
Okay.
The 8-bit Mario was amazing. I loved it. I loved it so much. Fun. Yeah, the 8-bit Mario thing was just, it was so neat to see Mario wrap around the buildings.
Yeah.
But like also they had a lot of overlay stuff that they like one of them was under the water.
The water, yeah.
And so the water was like bubbling and
you could still see like the regular world while you're like doing this like
8-bit Mario thing.
This puzzle.
And then like the way some of them interacted, like the bullet bills would like fire and like they would be 3D and then they would hit that 8-bit style and they pop into like an 8-bit bullet bill and then they just keep going. It's just little things like that was really, really cool. But yeah, rolling into the gameplay part of that, I mean, just the fact that you could do that at all. Like, not only was it a form of like platforming, you know, old school platforming and collecting, you know, a moon in the 8-bit like world, but it also would like help you advance by, you know, maybe you're down on the bottom cliff, you go into the tube and you got to make your way up 8-bit style to the top, and then you can access the top of the mountain or tower or whatever. So that was really cool. So yeah, gameplay.
Yes.
Gameplay. I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 7.
Okay. It's fair. It's like gameplay is funny because it all depended on how much the things that were bad, how much did that frustrate you? And like some of it frustrated me a lot. Some of it was just kind of an annoyance. The moon thing was really annoying, but it was just kind of like, it just was annoying.
You just have to try and remember which ones you've got.
Exactly. And sometimes because me and you were playing together, I would be going through a world that you had already been to and like, oh, there's this shiny spot here. And then I hit it and I'm like, Lori already got it. You know?
And those like 5 minutes that you stepped away.
Exactly, yeah. There are a total of 999 moons in this game.
I don't know if that's a total. Is it a total?
I thought so.
Or is it just like the cap?
Maybe.
Because there's 880 unique moons.
Okay.
But then you can buy duplicates at the shops
Gotcha.
to up your count
I see.
from there.
Okay, so 880.
80. Unique.
Okay, so those are the moons that you can actually go out and collect outside of the shop ones. Either way, we collected... I wrote down 105, although we did play a little bit 105. Or, 505.
505. I'm like, we got way more than 100.
Way more than 105. No, 505 moons. I wrote down 505 moons, though I think we got a few more while we were playing just tonight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it may be a little closer to 50 or like 510, something like that. Anyway, but yeah, so we got a little over halfway if it's 880.
We haven't... We're... the moon square things.
Yeah.
The capsules. That's kind of what we're in the middle of
right now. So
I mean, we've only done what, two kingdoms?
Yeah. We've replayed 2 kingdoms. We went through each kingdom our gameplay style was we went through each kingdom individually and got about as many moons as we could find in each kingdom while we were there before we progressed to the next kingdom. So we hit all the kingdoms while kind of progressing the story, and then after the end of the story you can activate the moon blocks. So then you go back to the beginning and you start activating all the moon blocks. You got to find Peach. They open up a whole bunch of other stuff, so you've got like another a
replay
10. Yeah, there's a whole another set of moons and everything that you can collect in each world, so it's almost like playing the whole game over again. But you have a lot more flexibility. You can go wherever you want. You can travel between them. You can, however you want to play it. But yeah, that's where we were. We beat the story. We were kind of starting to go back through the game again, but we only did maybe 2 moon blocks that we cracked open. But that said, the gameplay style that I feel like the game wanted us to play was very different than what we did. Like, I truly feel like the game wanted us to play it from start to finish as quickly as possible. Just get the mandatory moons and move on, and then backtrack and play everything. Because the way that we were playing just... I don't know. I can't remember why I felt that way. I remember by the time we got to the end, they wanted us to backtrack, and then we were like, oh, well...
We already have them.
Yeah, we may as well just... I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. Like, as you're progressing, because we had so many moons, it wasn't a challenge. Like, it wasn't like we already had the moons that were required to move on. Right,
yeah. By the time that we made it to the point where we could go to the moon, it was just like, you just go.
Hey, you need to have moons. Oh, wait, you already do.
Right, yeah. I think it was the same when we got to the cathedral too. Like, you had to have so many moons, but it was like, oh, you already do, so you're fine. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe had we just played it all the way through as quickly as possible and then went back, maybe that would have been a little more towards what they were expecting us to do. But yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress. This game, I could see us putting a lot more hours into this game, trying to find all of the moons. And from what I've heard, there's some that are just insane to try and find. I mean, a few of the moons that we were trying just a little bit ago, the like darker side of the moon, there's this... It's like a really challenging 3D platforming thing, and it's just really hard. Like, that's all it is. But that's what makes it fun. Like, I kind of like that over challenge, trial and error. You eventually figure it out. But that said, some of the bad stuff.
With that said, there was a good amount of difficulty for one player.
Yes.
But with 2-player, it kind of made it a little too easy.
Yeah, there was no, in between. The 2-player aspect was really odd. Because the second player, you didn't get, a Luigi. The second player played with Cappy. And you could just, jump off of Mario's head whenever and go and, collect coins. Or you could go and, beat up a monster. Or you could jump onto a monster and force Mario to utilize that monster. But, as a second player Cappy, you could, you had this bigger bubble that Cappy could, go out to. and you could allow Mario to double jump like really easily. So like Mario could get like some super height as like a 2-player, but as a 1-player, it's not quite that easy. So yeah, like you said, 2-player was almost too easy. 1-player was almost too hard
at times.
Yeah. I think though that the biggest reason why we stopped doing the Cappy 2-player was because of the button thing.
Yeah.
It constantly was telling you what buttons to hit. It's like press A to jump. I know. Press A to jump. Press A to jump.
Always control tips on screen.
Yes. Even while you're playing 1-player, but especially while you're playing 2-player. Usually it only pops up if you're playing 1-player if you're standing still, or if you have something activated. Like, for example, again, we're endgame material here. We're doing the darker side of the world, or the darker side of the moon, and I'm doing that really hard platforming area. And I'm hanging on one of those poles that you gotta, like, swing back and forth. And I'm sitting there waiting for the poles to move around, and at the bottom it's like, swing your analog stick left and right to swing, and then push A to jump. Like, I know!
I'm at the end of the game,
yeah,
I
like,
know this
I've done
already.
this so many times. Just go away! You're in the way at this point. On top of that, when you boot up the game every single time, it tells you about how the Joy-Cons can be used as controllers. And, you know, I understand that this was a launch title, but at some point they should have put in a patch to eliminate that splash screen. Like, there's no reason here now it's been out for,
well, you should have been able to turn
2
off
years.
The control thing, the control tips on screen. You should have been able to turn that off.
Yes. Yeah. And you can't. You can't. It's just annoying. It's really bad 2-player. It's not as bad 1-player.
I was wondering if it's a difference between like the Pro Controller and the Joy-Cons, if it would make a difference.
Maybe.
But maybe it would just be worse.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to know how to use the Joy-Cons, because, you know.
You'd have to learn the different techniques with the Joy-Cons.
They really wanted you to use the Joy-Cons.
They did, yeah. They really didn't have a whole lot of support as far as information goes for the Pro Controller. Like, sometimes it would say, also you can shake the Pro Controller. You know, like, little fine print.
Like, don't do this.
But I mean, the Pro Controller is so much more comfortable. But there were some things, like the way Cappy moves. When you're playing 1-player, you can shake the controller to make Cappy do different things. And for us, using the Pro Controller, it just turns out to you just shaking the controller around.
And hoping it goes the way you want it to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, most of the time I want Cappy to do like the circle around Mario, and he ends up like going in the air, or he ends up like homing in on different enemies. And I'm like, no, just go in a circle. Protect me.
The hat function was fun, taking over the enemies.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. It was cool to see all those different characters you could control.
Right. But I didn't like how it was almost like a gimmick in every world. Like, okay, we're in this new world, but you have to control this enemy to progress. Okay, now we're in another world, but you have to control this enemy to progress. Like,
it's just part of the world, though.
Yeah,
part of the kingdom.
Yeah, I guess.
No different than, like, getting the outfit to go into a room. Like, it's part of...
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, they want to utilize the hat superpower as much as possible. It's just, I wish that they had a wider variety in each world than just, like, the one enemy that was needed to progress.
I get you.
Okay. Let's talk about boss fights.
Okay.
They were not overly hard, but I felt like that they were very repetitive. At least for, like, the rabbits.
The rabbits,
like, you have to fight the rabbits over and over and over again, and there's 5 of them, and they rotate.
Is there 5 or is there 4?
4. There's 4 of them. Yeah. And they rotate out, you know, every world you're fighting a different rabbit, but, like, they all utilize the hat thing. So you understand, okay, well, I have to figure out how to get its hat off. But then when that rabbit comes back around again, it's like the same fight, just like a little bit different. Like a little different. The good news is that's only about half of the bosses. The other half of the bosses are like world feature bosses. So like you had the squid guy in the water level that you had to fight. And
The flower thing?
yeah, the big the flower vacuum thing.
We're sitting here thinking, what else did we have to fight?
There was the one at the cooking, the like vulture thing that you had to fight at the cooking world.
Yeah.
The dragon was a unique one. So I mean, they had some unique boss fights too. So it's like it wasn't all repetitive, but it's like story-wise, every time you see those rabbits, it's like again, the same thing again. So I don't know. That was kind of sad. What did you think about the like location moon clues?
The location moon clues?
Yeah, where like you found the like poster on the wall and it gives you like a clue. Art. Yeah, the art ones.
The art hints. They were fun. I mean,
we didn't do a ton of them. Mm-mm. They're kind of hard. One, you got to find the art frames
in the kingdom, and then you have to
go to a different
kingdom and find that spot.
Yeah.
And figure out what that artwork is trying to tell you to do.
Right. And it's not always easy.
But I mean, you gotta make it something a little challenging.
Yeah, of course. It specifically wanted you to use the feature of taking a screen cap. And so, again, it's a launch title for the Switch, so they're trying to utilize all of the features of the Switch. So taking screen caps was like a thing that they really were stressing you to do. And when we first started, it was like...
think about that.
Really?
I didn't think about that.
When it first started, we're like, oh, I'm not going to take a screen cap of that. I'm just going to find it and then move on. And then later on down the road, it's like, wait, I saw this one. I have no idea where it was.
What did it say?
Yeah, I don't know what it said. I know that it involved this turtle, but I don't know what else it was.
And then at that point, I'm just like, well, I'm either going to take a picture with my phone or I'm just going to look up the picture online.
Right.
Because I'm not going to, like, open up the screenshot on my Switch while I'm playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much easier to just use your phone that you already have a camera and just take a picture of the screen instead of, referring back to the screenshots. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Good try, Nintendo.
Yeah, right. I think one of the things that infuriated me the most of this game was the 3D platforming in the non-3D sections. So like when you're doing a 3D platforming segment and the camera is locked, so Mario is just doing like horizontal and vertical movements, you still have the like depth perception, but you can't see it because the camera can't move. So like I ended up like falling off of ladders and falling off of poles and stuff because I'm moving Mario to the right, but he's like still like floating off depth-wise off the platform. So that was so frustrating. That, and when you jump from platform to platform, if you're too close to the wall, he'll grab the wall and then you can jump and you'll just jump off. And when you jump while you're on a wall, you go like opposite the direction of the wall. So again, if you're thinking like on a horizontal plane and he's on this depth like field and he's pushing off of that wall, he's just jumping out into nothingness and you're dying. It was annoying because it wasn't my mistake.
Yeah.
When it's my mistake, it's like, I suck. But when it's something stupid like that where Mario is just being ridiculous, then I get angry. What else, Lori?
I liked moon jumping.
Yeah, the moon was really cool. There was a couple like platformy sub sections where you take the tunnel and then you go to another area, like where these like floating, it was almost like the Wipeout zones. Like the TV show Wipeout, where it's like all these like floating like bubbles and stuff that you got to platform through. And you still have the moon jump activated, so you're just like moon jumping all over the place, and it's so much fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. I liked all the mini games. There was quite a few mini games too. Like the Jaxie, I kind of consider him a mini game. You had in the polar ice area, you had the where you take over the walrus and then you do the like race with the walrus. I don't know, was he a walrus? Was he a seal? I don't know what he was. The race where he flaps to jump. You don't remember this at all?
I don't remember this at all.
It's like
I must have missed this.
No, you didn't. It's kind of like Mario Kart. It's in the icy area. It's like Mario Kart, and he's like this. He's rolling.
The bouncer guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, we have different like technical terms.
I don't even remember what they called it.
I don't know. He looked like a walrus to me, like a really round walrus.
I don't even remember what they called it. The bounce. You had to like bounce around the
He did. I don't know. I thought that was a fun little mini game. It was challenging to try, and even yet, I don't think we've gotten. Did we get all the moons for that one? We might have. There's some of them though that it's the jump rope was a little mini game, and there's no way I'm getting to 100. Like
volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball one too. That one I think just takes patience, but like the jump rope one takes timing, and I'm terrible at timing.
You were pretty close. What'd you get up to, like 80?
89, I think, before I finally died. And I think most of the time, like once you get to a certain point in the jump rope, it's just a matter of tapping it as fast as you can, and you might be like a couple seconds too slow each tap, and that like changes, the rope changes every time you jump, and eventually you just end up jumping on it. So I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get it, but probably not.
I'll probably never play this game again.
That could be. I got a lot of other stuff in my backlog right now. There was a ton of stuff like after the story finished. There's so much stuff that unlocks. Like after you're done with the story, so you get like the little Koopa Troopa race thing where you got to race the turtles.
The Luigi thing, I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is
because
either.
we didn't do anything with it.
The Mushroom Kingdom you can go to after the end of the story, and that's really fun.
With Yoshi.
Yes, you also get to refight a bunch of the bosses too, which is pretty cool. And they're a little bit different. Some of them are a little more challenging, or they're just a little different. And also all the extra moons that you can find after the end of the story. But yeah.
Would you like to move on?
I think so. Did I say my score? I gave it an 8.
I think so. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, that's right. What was the like worst thing about the gameplay?
For me?
Yeah.
Probably the 3D, 2D thing.
Yeah.
Like the 3D that. And the on-screen control.
Those were my two big things too.
It really bugged me. Especially in the beginning of the game. Like I was like this close to not playing. I was so really irritated with it.
Because every time you stop moving, there it is again. That's what made us start doing the one-player trade-off.
Yeah.
Because that was just ridiculous.
Anyway, music.
Yes.
I gave it a 9.
I gave it an 8.
I liked the music.
Okay.
It was really good.
I can't say it's super memorable, though. Like, a lot of it's very Mario, but I can't... I don't know, like Mario 64, by the time I was finished playing that like that song was like in my head over and over and over again.
Was that throughout the whole game?
Yeah, I guess.
And this one, each kingdom
had its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. The New Donk City, you had that like festival.
Yeah.
And during the festival, there's like a song playing in the background with like Paulina's supposed to be singing it, and they like overhyped that song so much. Like, I feel like they tried to use that song every chance they possibly could. And it was really cute the first time we did it, where like you kind of have to do a little bit of like the 8-bit platforming, and you know, you're doing a little bit of regular platforming, and it's really cute, but the music was kind of awkward because of the voice.
You didn't like the voice?
I didn't mind it. It just was weird. It just, when all the characters up to this point, well, all the characters, period, they all talk, but it's kind of like the Banjo-Kazooie talk, you know? Like the
I thought
Sims.
You were going to say the Animal Crossing talk.
No. But like the Sims, where they're like saying things, but it's not like real words. So I'm so used to that, but then you get this like weird song that they throw in, and it's just like normal English, or you know, whatever. I'm sure they translated it for every country, so you know, whatever language. It's just kind of weird, but I mean, not terrible. I really liked the dancing flags in Bowser's Kingdom, where they kind of like dance to the music. That's like, while we were playing that part, I just kept watching the flags, and I was just super entertained by the way that they would just like jig to the music. I can't remember the song though. But yeah, I give it an 8. I can't really say that like sound effect wise, other than the talking of the characters, everything was very normal Mario, you know. When every time he jumps, he does his, you know, whoop, whoop, sort of thing. Exactly like that, by the way. But yeah, I mean, they did have a lot of throwback stuff too to Mario 64, with the the Mushroom Kingdom had a lot of Mario 64 like sound, and then you can also transform into the Mario 64 outfit, so that was really cute. But like they utilized the music, kind of, you know, remade it so it sounded good, or sounded better than the original Mario 64, but I mean, they still kept true to the original, so that was cool. Anything else? Music, sound, nothing? Okay. Overall, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, what'd you give it?
I give it a 10.
Did you give it a 10?
Yes.
You liked it that much?
I did like it. Once I got over the control tips.
The control I'm still angry about the control tips.
Yeah, but
especially when I went to play it again today, and I'm playing endgame material, and I'm still getting tips on how to jump. I don't need it. No, that was a huge thing for me too, is the control tips, especially when they're in the way of my gameplay. And platforming, when that's the highlight of the game, and it's not done very well because of the 3D thing, that needs to be addressed. Like, they should find a way to fix that. I don't know what the solution is, other than maybe like putting Mario in like a glass box where he literally can only jump side to side or something. I don't know, but being able to fall off of a 2D object drives me insane. But otherwise, the game is a lot of fun. A lot of big throwbacks, like I just said, a lot of throwbacks to Mario 64. You can actually jump through, you know, paintings. You can go to different worlds that way. It's cool the way that they were trying to incorporate Mario 64 into this game.
I had a lot of fun playing this game. It's a great, like, couples game.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, sit down and play it with one of your kids.
And I think that the hat would be great for a little kid, because they can't really do a whole lot of damage other than constantly jumping on and constantly like possessing enemies. That would drive me crazy. But, you know, to sit down and have, you know, a little kid, give them a controller and be able to just play it without them really hindering your progression.
It's funny because, you know, like Pokemon Let's Go.
Pokemon was exactly the same way.
They did the same thing.
Exactly the same.
Like, they gave you this player 2 option, but Only kind of.
Yeah. It doesn't really affect the play of the game. Like, it can, but it doesn't really.
No, but it was a super chill game.
Yeah,
Let's
it
hang
was
out.
really nice to just sit and kind of veg out and just find moons. And, you know, every time we sat down and played a world, it didn't matter, you know, how many times we've played that kingdom, but we always found another moon. Like, oh, we missed this, or oh, we found, you know, the seed to go into the plant, you know. So, I don't know. That's pretty cool.
I was really surprised that it took us 2 years to play this.
It's funny because I don't feel like a lot of the Mario games we've played. Like, we always play the Yoshi games.
Yeah.
But, like, I've never played Mario Sunshine. I've never played Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. And I want to play Mario Galaxy.
We will. We absolutely will. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you know, Mario Sunshine, these are prominent Mario games. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really like the Yoshi series. They're very similar, but
Yoshi's way cuter.
Yeah, Yoshi is way cuter.
If I had the option of this game or Yoshi, I would pick Yoshi.
There were a lot of really cute aspects to this game too, though, like in New Donk City where they had the traffic signs that were question mark blocks. That was pretty cute. New Donk City was just amazing. Like, they put so much work into that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so my total score is 41 out of 50.
Mine's a 44.
And so that gives us an 85 out of 100. And that is a B. A very good, solid B. Which is fair. Yeah. Haha. Would have no idea that we're married. So, yeah, no, I did really enjoy the game. There were a few things that were very irritating, but it's really easy to put, you know, a lot of hours into this game. It's really easy to pick it up and just start playing again. I would say you'd have to relearn the controls.
They're right there on the screen.
They'll tell you. There's no way you're gonna forget. They're gonna tell you every 5 seconds how to play. Yeah, so really, literally anytime, it's just, you know, if you still have 100 moons left, you just jump in and, you know, hash out a few more moons and figure it out. They give you a full list of all the moons, so, like, you know exactly what you're missing. Even if you don't know where it's at, you know that it's missing. So, yeah. Had a good time playing this game.
Me too. With you.
Nice. That makes a difference. So next time, if somebody wants to play, you gotta specifically play with me if you want to have a good time. No. Anyway, so our next game is going to be, at least at this point, we're planning on it being Resident Evil. Yep, on the PlayStation. The original Resident Evil. After that, we're going to be doing Pokemon Sword and Shield. And then it'll be 2020.
I mean, it will be.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Well, I suppose it's true. It's going to be the first. Anyway, we've been playing a lot of Pokemon lately.
That's why we haven't finished this game.
Yeah. Otherwise, we probably would have a lot more moons had Pokemon not just come out. But, yeah. So that review is coming very soon. But we're sticking true to the 15th review, and that's why we're throwing in Resident Evil. That's why we did Metal Gear Solid last. So if that stuff sounds like fun, make sure you're following us on all of our social media so you know when things are out. Also, you can follow us on our website, ZapNight.com, where we've got everything we've got going on. You can listen to all of our previous podcast episodes. You can see our YouTube channel. We're like 3 away from having 100 YouTube subscribers. So, you know, if you want to help us out there, that would be amazing.
Subscribe. And
please.
You can watch our cats.
Yeah, you can watch.
Destroy things.
Yes, they will. And they absolutely do. It's wonderful.
I hope your controller over there isn't broken.
It's the pink one, so it's fine. Or the purple berry one. I'm sure it's fine. So yeah, thanks again for watching and listening to this episode of Zap Night, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.